Hey everybody, welcome back again. Thanks for joining me. If you are still in a relationship with a narcissist, or you are fresh out of one of those awful abusive relationships, you're in for a big surprise, because when we are with those people, when we are with somebody who is abusive like that, who takes advantage of us, uses us mentally and emotionally, some of us physically, we are not our true selves. It took me quite a while to come to that conclusion, but I believe I can safely say that that applies to anybody in a relationship like that. The real you, your true self, is just in hibernation when you're with someone like that. You're so caught up in trying to please them. You're caught up in believing their lies about you and making you feel insecure and putting you down and making you doubt yourself, that who you really are is nowhere near the surface. And when you're away from them for a good long while, who you really are is just right in front of you every single day. It makes you feel good to figure out who you are. It makes you feel good to realize that you aren't that person, that you weren't that person that they made you believe you really were. It takes a while. It's a process like anything else. I mean, I'm not this new person and that old person is just, gone and out the door, because, those thoughts and whatnot, you all know what I'm talking about, still come around and they still haunt you, and you still have to deal with them and you still sort them out. I see my therapist every week. But for the most part, I'm just not that person anymore. And it took me a really long time to not feel that way about myself. I would encourage you to think about the things that you even had the slightest interest in, or have the slightest interest in. Throw yourself into those things. I was very excited about a lot of things when I was with the narcissist. I had a very busy life. I was traveling, taking care of that family business and so on. I had no emotional support, so there was no way I could incorporate some sort of hobby or passion that I had and be consistent with it and try to nurture it and try to nurture that part of myself. Narcissists don't want us doing that anyway. They don't want us feeling good about ourselves. The more they can, hold us down and make us feel like garbage, the more they can use us and kick us around and, just have us around to be supply for them and inflate their egos. None of those things that, would go through the back of my mind. I'd say, well, that would be neat, or that would be fun, or I'd really like to do that. It all just got put on a back burner. I've just sort of been dabbling in little things here and there, trying to figure out what it is I really want to do. The one thing that I have been doing that I thoroughly enjoy doing a little too much is cooking. I loved cooking. When I would cook for him, he'd nitpick, oh, it's too salty, it's got too much this, too much that, oh, it makes me feel all bloated, oh, I feel so full. That was his own BS, because he always felt like garbage about himself anyway, and he wanted to make me feel like garbage along with him. He never appreciated the cooking. He never raved about a meal. I mean, I could put hours into it and he'd just be like, yeah, it was good, whatever. John appreciates my cooking. I can put anything in front of him and he raves about it like it's, a 4-course meal. I have really thrown myself into it. I've invested in a couple of nice pieces, good cookware for my kitchen, things that I know I will get a lot of use of in my kitchen. I just love it. I love being in my kitchen. I love putting meals together. And it's like the more complicated the recipe, the better. I really, really find it enjoyable to make a meal. Being in the kitchen and putting all those things together and chopping and preparing and doing all that, it's like therapy for me. I don't know if some of you can relate to that. Some of you might be like, that is not my thing. That's fine. Find something else. I have thrown myself into this, like I said, so much so that I'm kind of keeping an eye on my carbs now because I've just been cooking so much. And I love food. I mean, I think I've always just kind of been a foodie at heart, and I get really excited about eating or get really excited about going somewhere, and here comes the narcissist and his big sopping wet blanket, to throw it all over everything. And John loves that I love food. He loves trying new things with me. He loves when I whip up something new or different. He loves that I get excited about going somewhere new, or he doesn't smother me and smother my feelings and try to dampen all that out. It's just a completely different lifestyle. I did pick up the cello. After I got my pilot's license, I felt like, everything else will be a piece of cake. Well, the cello is not a piece of cake. I picked it up right after I got my pilot's license. Several months later, I wasn't steady with it again. Traveling, life, my father, becoming very ill. But it's always something I've loved. It's always something I wanted to do. And now I've picked it back up. And I couldn't be happier that I have. I'm not good at it. I'm just sitting at home teaching myself. John offered to, he's like, go get some lessons so you're comfortable and you're doing the right things. He's building me a beautiful cello stand. Maybe you don't have support for your hobbies and the things that you love, but that's okay because they're still yours and you can still do them. He is supporting me and I'm very, very blessed that he does. I'd still be doing it. I'd still be doing it anyway because I'm free to do it. I don't have to worry about criticism. I don't have to worry about why are you doing that, or why aren't you doing this, or why are you spending your time on that? You can't do all these things. There's no more of that negative talk. So we can try anything we want. I have this sad little basil plant that I've been trying to keep alive for weeks now because I've always wanted to grow my own herbs. And I had a ridiculously large kitchen. I had more than enough counter space for it. I wanted to get one of those little countertop herb, doodads. And don't forget the money that joker made. I would have heard about the money, and I would have heard about it if I didn't, have a green thumb and my herbs weren't, a blooming success. So I didn't get it because I thought, I don't want to listen to him if my herbs don't grow. And here I am trying to hold on to this lame little basil plant now because I know I'm not being criticized for it. I know I'm not going to be hearing I told you so, or why are you bothering? It's just this little thing that I'm doing because it's something I've always wanted to do. John picked up watercolors for me. He picked up some sketching materials. So why don't you try some urban sketching and water painting or watercolor painting? And it sat there for a while. I don't do anything outside of stick figures. So I thought, well, the sketching part isn't my thing, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start dabbling with the watercolors. So I'll get up in the morning, I'll have coffee, and I'll just start slinging paint all over this paper and just have fun with it because I can, because I know I'm not going to be criticized for it. And if I like it, I'll keep doing it. And if I don't, I won't. But it's something I have wanted to do. These things are things that have just been dormant inside of me because I was with somebody who didn't nurture any of that. I'm figuring out what works for me. I'm figuring out what I'm truly passionate about and what makes me happy, what makes my soul happy, what satisfies my soul, what makes me feel good at the end of the day. And I urge all of you to think about those things and to try to figure out what it is that would make your soul happy now that you're away or once you're away, because I guarantee you are going to be a different person when you are away from that abuse, when you are away from the negativity, when you're away from those voices telling you that you can't do it, don't bother, you don't have the time, you can't make that happen. That's all gone. When that goes away, you can do anything. You can do anything, you can try anything, doesn't work, so what? And you laugh it off. It's not a big deal anymore. It's not a point of contention anymore. It's not, you don't have a bullseye on you anymore for the things that you want or like or enjoy or you want to try. I mean, he didn't want to try anything and I wanted to try everything. I was just being held down and I was being held back, and I'm just a completely different person now. I am who I've always truly been inside. I now have the opportunity to let that person emerge. That person was suppressed because of a narcissist, because of the mental and emotional abuse that was imposed on me that I allowed all those years. And now it's over with. So I'm just free to basically do whatever I want. Experiment with whatever I want, as far as my hobbies, as far as my likes, whatever interests me. I love going to the library now. I'm just picking up books, paging through them, copying some recipes, go take the books back, get a few more. I'm doing all the things that I would have done in years past if I hadn't been stepped on the way I was. If I had believed then that I could do those things. I throw meals together that I never ever thought I could. I make meals for John that I've never made for anyone. A little time consuming, a little complex, things that I thought were way above my head. I can't do that. I'll ruin that. That's too much. That's too fancy, whatever. I do them now like it's nothing, and I enjoy it thoroughly. Figure out who you are. Figure out who that narcissist has been keeping dormant inside of you. Figure out the things that you've always wanted to do and don't be afraid to do them anymore. Forget about the negativity, forget about the can'ts, and you won't, and you don't have time, or you can't do all that. Put all that aside and just start doing the things that you want to do. Figure out who you really are. Once you're away from them, now that you are away from them, whatever your case may be, and if you are still with a narcissist, I guarantee you there is a completely new person, a completely different person. The true you, the real you is just waiting at the chance to surface, because we're not our true selves when we're with narcissists. It's just not possible. Hokey as it may sound, I don't know if it makes sense to any of you. Comment, let me know. Message me, leave a comment, email, whatever. And if you found this to be true for yourself, share that as well. I'd love to hear how the new you emerged, what kind of hidden talent you had that you didn't even know about because it was being held back and held down. Well, thanks for watching again, everybody.